Hi guys, happy Brew Wednesday. How you doing? This is that Cooper's Mexican Cerveza that has aged out very, very nicely and tastes just like a nice Pilsner. There you have it. Okay, so cheers. Today we're going to do two things. Put this down over here. First thing I want to show you is, actually, three things, I guess. I'm going to talk about using bleach as a sanitizer, and I'm going to also brew a batch of wine today. I'm going to just do it right here. Just boom, there you have it. Okay. So, but before we get to those things, let me just grab the camera. This is a Cooper's IPA, which I do a lot, but I actually, instead of adding things like dextrose and stuff to it, I actually did a mini mash. So I used about 4 pounds of 2-row, did a mini mash on it, 4 pounds of 2-row. Got a nice thick mash consistency for about an hour and 15 minutes at probably about 153. Right down here on my induction burner. Worked out beautifully. I actually put, look at the crowset on that. Look at the crowset. Oh man. So let me put this back. It worked very, very well on the induction burner, and the mash was fully converted. I did a starch test, iodine test on it. Everything worked out great, and then from there I just used that as I did a sparge. Got a second pot of 170 degree water, took the grains out. I did them in a bag, a brew in the bag method. Took the grains out, put them in the sparge water, let them soak in there for a little while, and then took that out, disposed of the grains, and then I combined the two pots. And I used that as my strike water for the Cooper's IPA, which I then added 1 ounce of Tettnanger hops for 10 minutes, I believe. And of course the Cooper's IPA beer kit as well. And so that's sort of what I did, and I had to use my wort chiller because there was a lot of wort there. It was about 2 or 3 gallons of wort that I knew wasn't going to be cool enough to just top it up with water. So I used the wort chiller on that. So I got high hopes. It's been brewing for about a week. I do have a heat belt on it right now. It's about 64 degrees Fahrenheit down here in the dungeon. And that heat belt brings it up to about 70. And that's where I want it, because I'm using the Cooper's yeast, and I don't want it to be too cold for that yeast. It's not made for that, so that's what we're doing. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, after I get another little, boost, is somebody asked me about using bleach as a sanitizer. Now, before anybody gets their knickers in a knot, I've talked about Star San and this kind of thing a few weeks in a row, and it's just people have a lot of questions about it. And so, I apologize, but there's 1 or 2 guys who got mad at me and buggered off somewhere, unsubscribed or whatever, because I keep talking about this. But you know what? Sanitizing, as you know, if you're a home brewer, is probably the single most important step in your brewing process. So some people, they use bleach. They just get some water. They put a cap full of bleach in there, and they sanitize their stuff, and they have luck with it. And some people do that, and they don't have luck. Now, one of our fellow brewcasters, Gash Slug, he sent me a link a little while ago to an interview with Charlie Talley, who invented Star San. And he sent me this link, and I listened to it, and I did a lot of research on this, and I tried to get this. Made notes of this because I want to make sure that I get this. I get this right. So, bleach itself is not a sanitizer. Okay, a lot of people they see mold in their bathroom, and they spray on the bleach or the Tilex or whatever product they have, and the mold disappears. It gets it goes away. Well, it doesn't really go away. All they're doing is bleaching it, and in a week or two it comes back, and they have to do it all over again. Straight bleach does not sanitize. So I was surprised to hear that, because I used to pour like a little drop of straight bleach onto my countertop and then wipe it all around, and I thought, yeah, this is killing everything, you know? No, apparently it's got to be at a certain concentration and a certain pH level before it will kill, before it will sanitize. Okay? So the first thing that you want to do if you want to use bleach as a sanitizer is buy the cheapest brand of bleach you can find. Okay? Bleach does lose its potency after a while, over time. And so some of the more expensive bleaches, what they do is they add sodium. I got notes. I don't want to get this wrong, okay? Sodium hydroxide is what they add to the bleach that gives it more longevity, and it will bleach your clothes and make your everything white and bright and everything else. And that's what most people are using it for, for their laundry. But unfortunately, there's a chemical in bleach that is actually the killer that kills germs. So when they add this hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, it actually reduces this acid content in the bleach, and then it doesn't sanitize as well, if at all. So buy the cheapest bleach you can find. Also, buy the smallest container of bleach you can find, because it does have a shelf life. It does lose its potency after a while. If it goes cloudy or loses its chlorine odor, don't use it for sanitizing. Okay? It won't work. And it probably won't work in your laundry either. So that's the thing about bleach. Most bleach, if not all, according to Charlie, is 5% sodium hydrochloride. It says it'll say it right on the thing, sodium hydrochloride, and hopefully it'll say 5 to 5.5%. Okay, that's the concentration of the chlorine that's in this bleach product. So with that in mind, what he's telling you to do, and you can go, I've got a link down below in the info section to the entire interview if you want to listen to it. But I'm just breaking it down for you quickly, so that you don't have to, if you don't have time to listen to that, because it's like an hour long, these are the main points that you want to concentrate on. 1 ounce of bleach in 5 gallons of water, okay, and then you add 1 ounce of white vinegar to that. You want a pH of 8. If you have pH strips, test it, see if it's at 8. If you don't have pH strips, that's what he's telling you to do. That's the recipe for bleach sanitizer. That's when it will actually kill germs. Okay? So if you want to use bleach as a sanitizer, it is cheap, and it was nice of Charlie Talley to tell us that, even though he's trying to sell Star San and iodophor. It's nice of him to say, hey, if you can't get that, you can use household bleach as a sanitizer. Don't ever add the vinegar straight to the bleach itself. Don't do that. It can harm yourself very badly with the fumes. Okay, you put the bleach in the water first, then you add the vinegar to it. Okay, so be careful with that. If you're not sure, don't do it. This is a no-rinse sanitizer, and the contact time is 30 seconds. You do not need to rinse this off. He said it's virtually, you cannot taste it at all, and you don't have to worry about rinsing it out. So I think this is fantastic. I think that for those of you who don't have 50 gallons of Star San like I now do, thanks to some kind viewers, this is a great way to sanitize. Okay? So thanks to Gash Slug for giving me that link. And the network, the interview network, is called Basic Brewing Radio. And on YouTube, they're called Basic Brewing. There. Now we've got that out of the way. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make some wine. Now, I've had people asking me, can you do another winemaking video? I probably will do another full-fledged lapel mic, the whole bit, wine video. But at this point, I've got a batch of wine here tonight I'm going to make. And I thought, well, why not do it for my Brew Wednesday? I do have a 4-part winemaking series on my channel. If you look up, I don't know the exact phrase that you need to type in. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. But it's a very detailed series about how to make one of these wine kits here. This is a California connoisseur wine kit. This particular one is, if I can lift it, is a Chamblaise. The first thing is, it comes with the juice that's in the box, the concentrated grape juice. You got your yeast, you got your bentonite, you got your potassium sorbate, okay, you got your, I guess I didn't need these, did I? Thought I would. Potassium metabisulfite, you got your isinglass or isinglass for clearing, and your instructions, which I don't use because I've done this like 5,000 times. Okay, so we're not going to use all these today. We're only going to use the first two, and let's make a batch of wine. Let's get to it. First thing I'm going to do, I've sanitized all my equipment, obviously, including the green hose, the green fill hose. Everything's been sanitized that's going to be involved in this with Star San. I'm going to put some warm water in here from the tap, probably about half a gallon. Just in the bottom of the fermenter there. Let's get some bentonite. This is the first package you add to this. It's like a clay, and it helps to clear the wine. Get some proteins down into the bottom, so it clears easier later. I'm going to stir my water and add the bentonite like that, slowly, because it's like a clay. It'll clump up if you aren't careful. And there we have that, okay? That's package number 1. I'm going to tilt that so you can see it. And I'm just going to give that a good stir to make sure it's completely dissolved. And they say 1 minute, so I'll come back when this is done. Okay. Did that for about a minute. I'm just going to move that off the side so I can bring over the actual grape juice that we're using in this kit here. And what I've done is I've just tore out sort of a corner, okay, so that I can pour it without taking it out of the box. I'm going to grab my little thing here and just get that thing off there and just put that up there. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll just turn this around carefully. Grab it like that. Whoops. Pour it in. Making sure that the bag itself doesn't fall into the fermenter. There you go. Okay, so there, now you got that in there. I don't know if you can see that, but now what you want to do is just grab the bag. See, there's stuff in the bottom. You want to get that rinsed out. So I'm going to put some warm water in here. I'm going to rinse it, and I'm going to pour this into there. Alrighty. And then we add that. Boom. Okay. I'm going to give that a stir. All right, now all that's left to do is really add some cold water, and again, I sanitized this fill hose. I'm just going to add this. I want to keep my temperature at around 73, 74 degrees. So I'm just going to keep my... I know I'm going to have to use some warm water for this. Yeah, it's getting cold, so we're gonna stir this and then check the temperature before we take it up to the 5-gallon mark, the 23-liter mark. Yeah, it's 60. Okay, 66. So I'm gonna put some warm water into this. Okay, we're at about 76, 75, and that's where they say to do this. Okay, between 70 and 77 degrees is what they say. And it comes with a Lalvin 1118 yeast package, and we'll just get that in there real quick. I'll just give it a one final little whirl to get things rotating around. You'll see why I do that. Because then when you add the yeast, it sprinkles on nice and evenly on the top. And that's what they want. They don't want you to stir the yeast in at all. Just leave it on top. Like that. And there's the familiar smell of the yeast hitting the must there. Now I'm going to put on the sanitized lid, and I'll come back when this is done. We're going to put an airlock on here because this is a bitch to get on. Okay, so it's going to take me a bit here. Really, really tight. I don't want to bang it like this because I don't want to mix the yeast in with the wine, you see. They say not to. Right, and then the airlock. And we'll just throw some water in that. Let's see if I can... I'll get some water in that and we'll come back and tie this thing up. Well, there you go. We just made some wine there. That's the first stage, of course. There are other steps involved, but they're siphoning, adding stuff. Maybe I'll put some of those in some subsequent Homebrew Wednesday videos so you can sort of see how it all plays out. In the meantime, I got myself a nice glass of homemade red wine, made exactly the same way as I just did there, with all the other steps as well, and it's amazing. Cheers. I finished my beer while I was making the wine, so I'm not double-fisted. There you have it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this was enjoyable. Hope you liked the video. Please rate, comment, subscribe, all that jazz if you haven't already. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you Friday. Thanks for watching. Cheers.